On August 28th, 1963, I was a little young black boy in the city of Gary, Indiana, and at a church on Broadway, on 21st and Broadway, Metropolitan Baptist Church, listening to a swirling debate of the church elders talking about who would go and represent our church at this historic march in Washington. In 1963, it was pretty much predicated that if you were black, you were really relegated to menial tasks and unemployment. The unions were pretty much blocked, and you were probably more either a porter on a train or you were cleaning someone's home for most of the black women. And so the jobs that were really open to African Americans was pretty much very, very stark or slim. And so the mission out of the March on Washington was really predicated on how do we give jobs. I am a man, I need a job. And how do I have equality as an American in terms of the civil rights that we believe that were guaranteed in the Constitution. When I fast forward and I look at what the mission of the Urban League is, it's pretty much the same thing. That we try to make sure that if somebody has a job, they can take care of themselves, they can take care of their families. It would have an impact on not only their family life, but their community, but a city or a state in which they reside. And having access to equality means that pretty much black people want the same thing as any white person wants. You want to be able to work, live, feed your family, educate your children, have money left over for retirement, make sure that your health care bill doesn't take you out, and that you can sit in your rocking chair at the end of the day and say, life was good. And when we can find that that is accessible to every American, regardless of race, creed, gender, or sexual orientation, then we've reached the goal and our mission has been accomplished, and we should close up our doors and find something else to do. Martin Luther King personified what I would say a blend of Mahatma Gandhi's work of nonviolence, but his teachings of Jesus and the Bible. I think black people have this great capacity for forgiveness and understanding that even though we're wounded and we've died for this nation on the battlefield, and in spite of the injustices, we still serve and love this country. And so in watching Martin Luther King advocate for those issues for both black, white, and poor people really resonated with me, and still today, as a sense that we have an obligation, that those words that were penned for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness mean something. And that really just made a difference for me, and I've been in the civil rights movement all of my adult life as a result what I learned from observing the March on Washington. I benefited as a child because I grew up understanding what was at stake, where I stood when I went to the beach, when I went to the store, when I went to go to any kind of establishment looking for services, sit in at the lunch counters. All of that transpired in my lifetime. So I don't necessarily have to read a book about it because I lived through it. So I am a product of the March on Washington of August 28, 1963. I am the personification of civil rights, the education system, the military, and all of the dreams and hopes that America has embodied, and I represent that. And I believe that we can do better when we invest in those that we continually or potentially could write off. We are not in a post-racial society, even though that we have a black president. We have more things that I've seen that have been allowed with President Obama sitting in the seat than I've seen in any president in my lifetime, in terms of disparity, how we treat the office and the office holder. So America still has, underneath the surface, we have some real serious sickness and wounds that still have not healed. That takes us back to a dark hole and an ugly place that America does not need to see.